15 years ago, God gave me a vision to start a home for unwed mothers in Ohio. Hundreds of lives have already been changed. Just listen to these young women.
If there was not a Hannah's Home, I feel like my family would never have gotten healed. We would probably not talk. I would not have continued my education. I would not have gone back to school, or, I would have been very broken.
I slept on a park bench for 2 nights because I had nowhere to go.
I'll probably be staying in a shelter somewhere, Probably be homeless and everything else.
Hannah's Home pretty much saved my life.
I couldn't have done it alone, and I had so much support here. And that's really what you need when you're pregnant, is all the support that you can get. Because it's so hard, especially when you're a teenager.
When they come, their self-esteem and self-worth is usually low. So we do a lot of work on trying to encourage them that God has a plan for their life.
God has a special calling on every person's life. Every child that's born is a created, unique creation in God's eyes, in God's sight.
And it's just been such a blessing my son has a life, and every time I go visit him or I think about my time here, every time it's just reassuring that I did the right thing.
Hannah's Home is a safe haven where they can come and they don't have to worry about food, shelter, clothing, medical care.
We know that single mothers usually remain in poverty because most of them become pregnant when they're quite young, before they've completed their education. They need to develop a marketable skill, not just completing a high school education, but going in a direction that they can market.
And we try to come up with a plan that's personalized to what they want to do, their goals that they want to reach.
They help me with STNA, getting a nurse's assistant certificate, and just little odds and ends.
And learning how to make those decisions and how to make those life choices is what we're all about.
Isn't God good? These lives have been completely changed.
I think it affects more people than and more families than anybody can ever understand.
This is everybody's issue. This is everybody's problem, and this is everybody's charity or ministry to get involved in.
I'm big on going around the world, but the truth is, mission starts at home, right here in our own backyard. The need is it's critical, and we need Christian people that really love Jesus Christ, to do more than say that they love Jesus. We need them to show it by what they do.
This is not something that's done by one individual or one person, not even by just one church. It must be a community saying that we believe in this mission.
When people contribute to Hannah's Home and support the work here, they are really giving to this generation and the coming generation.
This is your chance to reach out to a generation that's lost.
Anything you do in life, you do not know what's beyond what you're doing. All you're doing is what you should do as a Christian, and then God brings a blessing.
The greatest accomplishment that one can have is to see that you were a part of making a vision come to reality.
In your heart, you know it's right, and it means you need to step out. All of us need to step out without fear, knowing that this is the right thing to do.
It's incredible the impact that a place like this could make on somebody.
Even though my parents were discouraged about me coming here at first, my parents they donate. They're so grateful. My parents are just completely grateful for what they have done.
If my daughter would have been pregnant and not getting along with me, or perhaps she was living out on her own because she didn't want to live under our rules. For me as a mother, if I knew there was a place like this, that would just, this would just be so comforting to know that there were people that care and love.
The guy that dug the hole for the basement, his daughter ended up at Hannah's Home 2 years later. He stood there with tears in his eyes as he dropped his daughter off at the place that he helped build. It came back to him. And that's what I want to tell you, community. It comes back to you.
And everybody has something to give. If it's not in a financial way, then it's your hands, you know, something that you can do.
And it's our responsibility. It's not the world's responsibility. It's not the government's responsibility. It's not the state's responsibility. It's the church's responsibility. Jesus was talking to the church.
We say, well, we don't know these girls or these children, or they've made the mistake, they have to suffer, there's consequences to what they've done. But you know what? We all deserve grace.
And He loves us, and we are to be forgiven. And the girls have to forgive themselves.
It is time for the church to stand up and be doers of the word, not hearers only. So get out there and get involved.
It's not some massive governmental program. It's not throwing money at something. It's changing young ladies' lives one at a time.
We see young women turn into butterflies, and there's no price to be put on that.
These women and their children can become beneficial members of our community.
I came here as a girl, and I walked out as a young woman.
We're going to pay for these young ladies and for these children one way or the other. How much better to pay it forward now, to get involved in their lives, to help them be a productive member of society.
I hope you've caught the excitement and vision of Hannah's Home. We need your help. Won't you please give to this life-changing ministry and be blessed?